Sunday, March 20th, first day of spring, 2016. In my video diary of a couple days ago, I forgot to mention a couple of really important concerts that I've had in the last year. One was last November 22nd with the Triangle Youth Philharmonic, The Winds and the Brass. Played a piece that I wrote for that concert called Tilting at Windmills, based on a Don Quixote. And then on March 6th, the Choppy Quartet, resident quartet at Duke, along with hornists Rachel Nikotopoulos and Chris Caudill, and bassist Robbie Link, played a piece of mine for two horns and strings at the NC Museum of Art. I'll have those videos and recordings up on the website soon. It's from time to time I go to an adult Sunday school philosophical discussion group over at the Pullen Memorial Baptist Church. It's an extraordinarily liberal Baptist church. See, right next to NC State. And today we were discussing a book written by the Dalai Lama. A really insightful book. And there was discussion about relative merits of capitalism and Marxism and how to lead more compassionate lives, more aware of our global situation. And it struck me. I recall the Woody Allen movie from many years ago, where it shows him as a young child, and he's refusing to do his homework, won't cooperate, because he says the universe is expanding, and it's all going to go away, it's all going to disperse. So what's the point? What's the point of my doing homework? And the parents are very distressed. And at some point, I think there's an intuitive understanding in the population that the way we have been running things can't go on. And the faster that we run them, the more prosperous we are. The results of our economic activity simply hastens the day when we run out of stuff. And there's no answer for that. Is that eventually, of course, we're going to have a society that has no net use of any natural resources. Imagine that. We're going to be forced by reality check. I mean, every time we dig a hole in the ground to make a mine or drill something out of the earth, it will run out. It doesn't fill up by itself. So what happens then? And, well, after that, the stuff gets dispersed, and it takes more and more energy to get your raw materials together until finally you're left with getting your copper out of the ocean. Water, seawater, becomes a vital resource, and that takes just an enormous amount of energy. Well, where did you get your energy? You dug your energy out of the ground too, and that's true for fossil fuels or nuclear energy. It's all mined, and it all runs out. So what then? The universe is expanding. What's the point of our doing our homework? But the future doesn't vote. The future doesn't buy things. There's an area in Jordan. It's a wasteland. It's a toxic wasteland. Nothing grows there, just rocks. Used to be a forest. You can see scattered over the ground. This slag came from a copper mine thousands of years ago. way, way back. cut down the trees to make charcoal, smelt the copper that they mined right there. Poison is leached into the ground, nothing grows, and won't for a very long time. No more copper, no more trees, no more vegetation. That's it. That's what happens when you mine. We're flattening western West Virginia. We're taking the tops off of the mountains, putting them in the valley. This is capitalism. It works extremely well. So it's really, remarkable when you really think of things that way, that everything that we touch, everything that we do, every way that we get around is based on stuff that runs out. Stuff that's quite remarkable. So what kind of life would it be like to have no net use of any natural resources and have a sustainable population level, and where all the other species can live too? And that's a very remarkably different world. Remarkably different. Well, just not very many people, and living in a way that looks a lot more like medieval times, with the occasional smartphone, I suppose, but still, I mean, even smartphones depend on cobalt and tantalum and all these mines all over the world, and it's so it's a very interesting drama, very interesting drama. And as a musician, of course, as a composer, it's a little hopeless in my situation to write for the present. I have to write for the future. Now, of course, my spiritual practice is to live in the present, to observe each breath and be mindful about being right here, be here now. That's fundamental. When I write music, it's intrinsically designed for this unknown and unknowable future situation. And in terms of in classical music, that can be a long time. And it used to be, of course, that people would print music on paper, and the paper would hang around for a while, and eventually people could pick it up. But now, of course, everything's electronic. So I've been making CDs for some years on my own computer, giving them away. I just read today a thing on the internet, a comical little piece, about what to do with all your worthless old CD collection. The people have these piles of CDs that they now don't know what to do with because they're some outmoded technology. So they paint the CDs black, and then they make engravings on out of the black paint with this iridescent CD stuff coming out from the back of it. It's very decorative, and they tape it up on the wall. And that's what to do with my life work. I didn't know I was going to be a visual artist. So basically, the format in which my labors are encoded will become unintelligible in a short amount of time, and any medium that they're stored on will be garbage, and well, again, it's just a few years. And this many people have commented on the coming digital dark age, when what we have produced in the last 20 years and becomes inaccessible. So I try and keep at least on hand some printed versions of what I'm doing. But there's also the psychological impact of my computer. I'm on the computer all day. I get sucked into Facebook just like anybody else, and it's just this extraordinary desire box. And you get this dopamine rush, and I'm not sure how to handle it, especially since my employment is online, and my music making is all online. The way I get my music to people is on my website. All my major modes of communication with all the people that I cherish, spread over a large geographical area, almost entirely online. If I were to go on an online fast, that would be more severe than not talking. It would be the equivalent of putting on a blindfold and taking out my hearing aids. Because even my hearing aids are directly connected by this microwave device to the computer. The computer speaks directly to my head. I don't have any implants yet, but I'm not schizophrenic. I don't have to worry about that. Well, on this cheerful note, I'll bid adieu and enjoy the spring.